Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, so how are you guys doing? Yeah, today I want to do some sci-fi stuff, and particularly I want to create a sci-fi lab. And I have a few reference images here, just for inspiration, as some pieces that I have from ArtStation here. And yeah, we're going to use these as reference image. I want more something like this, but instead of these cells here, we're going to use tubes or cylinders. I maybe have like tube babies or something like that. And we're going to use these cylinders here as the base. And actually, I think we can start by making something like this. Just have this somewhere in the reference image like that. Expand this. Hello, post extra, how are you doing? Yeah, so let's start right away. I think this is going to be an amazing piece for a hard surface, and it doesn't look that complicated. You just have to commit on making the detail. Oh, yesterday's project? Yeah, I think it was. Let me show you the final render for that. Let me just navigate to my temp folders. I think this was it. It was JPEG, view animation. Yeah, so this was it. I rendered it using very few samples. That's why you see there is a lot of noise in it, but this was the render. Yeah, the samples were very low, and I think I needed to have more contrast for this. But yeah, that was yesterday's project. Okay, so let's try and make something like this, and then we can use it to create a sci-fi lab. We will get a few elements from this. I like these hands here. We can use them somewhere. And we can also grab, cylinders like this. Yeah, we'll see how long this takes us if we are able to make it. So let's get started with this. Do something like this. I don't need the material shader. Let me bring my shortcuts. I'm trying to earn money from your projects. What do you mean? Hard surface? Yeah. So let's start with a circle. And I think for this, we're going to need a circle with some good resolution. Let me reduce the sound here, the music a bit, because I think it's a bit too loud. Yeah, I need a circle maybe with around 64 polygons. I like that. Can extrude it up like that, shade smooth, and then turn on auto smooth. Another thing I'm going to do is add a bevel modifier like that. And I think I can enclose this off and enclose this bottom off as well. I think I'm going to need some hardened normals like that. Now, let's add something like this. Control B, Control Alt E to extrude along normals, just a bit like that. And I think I'm going to also just grab this piece, slide it up a bit, so we have something like that. And let me see. I can also add a loop around here. Control B, and I just grab a piece like this. Shift D, pitch separated. Let me turn on random colors and maybe cavity. Grab this piece. Alt E. And push it out like that. Maybe scale it in. Yeah, something like that. Actually, before we even do that, we can just first round off these corners. Control Shift B to do a bevel vertex. Improve my skills. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Means make and upload. Oh, I see, I see. Extrude this a bit like that, and I think I can grab the outline of this edge loop and bevel it as well, something like that. And we can also add in some extra details. I think to make this much easier for us, I'm just going to grab this inner piece and get rid of it, so that we have something like this. And maybe for this I'll reduce the bevel thickness to about that. I can grab a piece. Let me see, which piece can I grab? Maybe add another edge loop here, grab these faces, just get rid of them, slide this, slide that, just go top view, extrude like that, then have these connected. So I think I need an edge loop around here, connect this face with this face with that, just add in some small dent detail like that, and slowly by slowly you can add in extra detail like that. Another thing I could do is just have this mirrored, so I can add a loop here. Let me see, where is that loop going to be? Actually, I can add a loop down here. Let me slide it here. Same here. Just hit J, align them, just cut off the bottom part. I think I need to have these connected. Just remove the bottom part, have origin there, and then add a mirror, mirror Z, turn on clipping, just grab these like that. And make sure that I have no doubles, because that's going to mess up my, I don't want this back face to be rendered or to be there, so I'm going to get rid of that, so we maintain our shape like that. You go into material mode, turn on ambient occlusion. So that's where we at. Now we can add a loop. Let me see why I don't need this edge or this face here. Same this side. It shouldn't exist. I want this to be. Let me first scale this on the Z like that. Let me call this sci-fi lab. Like that. We can add in a bolt and screw like that. Hello Kuma33, how are you doing? I'm just going to add a loop here. Let me change this to active elements so that I can align these better. I want to add a circle here, so I'll just bevel the edge, change the shape, And maybe we can even add more segments. Scale it down and then in, just like that. And then I can shift D this to duplicate it, maybe, and hide it. Yes. Let's see. Grab this face and this, join them. Like that. I just need to make sure that this is in the middle. So let me first get rid of this. I think it should be something extruded like that. And then we would need another edge loop there. Grab these faces, or grab this face, insert it. Actually, I need to insert this piece like that, and then push it in like that. Blender is too hard. Well, it's, yeah, by the way, talking about Blender, I'm making this new add-on that should help you learn Blender, especially if you're new to Blender. If you're a beginner, this add-on should be very, very useful. So for example, it's just text and video manual. So you just search, say you want to learn how to bevel, you just go in here and search for bevel, and it will bring, let me just, how to bevel, and it can bring up a playlist of videos that can help you learn how to use the bevel tool. And it just shows you here really quickly a quick tutorial on how to use the bevel tool, just like that. And yeah, so it's still work in progress. It should be launched in a few days, I think, hopefully. Yeah, so we're still working on this here. Just need to dissolve some of the vertices in here. Yeah, so we have something like that, and I think we're going to need to make it a bit smaller, like that. Watch the gig. Yeah, there's a lot of tutorials. Hey, Burning Bright. Okay, let's see. Let's grab this. I'm going to move this along its normal, I think. Normal. Actually, no. Let me just. Yeah, somewhere like that. You have watched too many tutorials. So we have a hard surface like that. Now I just want to make sure that I'm using the bevel tool more efficiently, and that means I need to make sure that I don't have vertices too close to each other. Let me first get rid of first disable this. And I have many courses, but I'm still too bad. Try to, yeah, I'm not sure then how to help. So how long have you been trying to learn Blender? Maybe. Okay, so that's going to be that piece. Now we can come in here, start adding extra details. Just that will make this piece look better. I'm also going to grab maybe an edge loop here, insert it, push it in, grab an edge loop here. Now we're just doing some random stuff that hopefully will make our piece look super high detailed. So I can also add a loop maybe here, and create an edge loop, maybe add another loop, create a cut from here to here. Maybe let's add another loop there. Let's see. So if I grab if I grab this edge and this edge, round them off, okay, that's not giving me, I just 2.5. They're not really giving me the shape I wanted, I was hoping for. But this shape also can work for us. I can insert it, push it in like that, and you see, without doing a lot of work, we have managed to add in some extra detail. Can also grab this edge loop here, bevel it a bit, push this edge in, and we have another extra detail like that. 5 months is way too short to give up yet. I haven't. Blender is too broad for just a few days like that. So I'm also going to add an edge loop from there to there, and can grab. Let me round off this corner here, like that. So I can grab this edge loop up here and here and here, like that. Control B, like that, and then use Alt E to extrude along the faces, like that, and that should push. Actually, I'm losing my bevel here, so I'm just going to use Control B, add an edge loop, and just use that edge loop, push it in like that, and that should give me an extra detail like that. And then another thing I could do is because you see, when you have the bevel tool and you have a lot of polygons too close together, you lose the effect of the bevel tool. So I'm just going to come in here and dissolve some of those edges, and you see now we are getting the details back. Let me first get rid of. Yeah, thank you for subscribing, Ultimate Prime. I think I'm also going to grab these vertices here, merge them at the center like that. I do the same for this, and just get rid of that edge loop. Now, for some reason, that has also dissolved the bevel tool. So I'm going to just, let me see, get rid of one of those edges that's going on here. Let me first undo until I see my bevel, because I want to maintain that bevel loop. Thank you for subscribing, Kanzari. Thank you. Yeah, also if I use Shift N, this edge loop is also too close, so I'm going to dissolve it so that I can maintain that edge loop. Here, I'm just going to rotate this edge loop and maybe round it off using Ctrl B like that at round off that corner. But I'm introducing some artifacts around there. So for that, I need to find a way to get rid of this. Maybe just slide this edge loop. Actually, that introduces more. Let's have it around there. And maybe have this connected to this, so that I can slide this edge loop down and have it connected to that. So we have something like that. And you see, little by little, we can manage to add more detail. And for this edge loop, I'm just going to connect this to this. And I just grab this middle, just round it off as well. Maybe add more resolution to get a smoother loop there. Do the same for this corner, Ctrl B, round off that corner as well, like that. I think we also might need to do the same for this here. Let me see, what about here? I think that gives us a much detailed thing. Another thing I could do is just grab this loop up to maybe this loop from here up to here, insert it, use Alt E to push that in, and I'm just going to hit Y and separate it. Just have a copy of this like that, add a few extra edge loops like this, just grab them like that, select a few of these like that, and then push those out so we have some detail like that. So little by little you can start adding extra details simply by doing a few tricks like that. And let me undo this. So I also want a cut from here down, maybe down to this edge loop like that. And what I'm going to do is just make sure that this is mirrored. This piece is mirrored. Actually, let me first rotate it at the 3D cursor, rotate it at around here. And also make sure that this is not covering the entire face. So if I go to front view, I want to select all the vertices or all the edges on this side. And first get rid of this face and the bottom face. I want to just grab all the faces on this side, remove them, and simply use the mirror modifier to mirror that side. And I'm just going to rotate this one more time until everything aligns up like that. And now we have this side and this side. And for this, I think we can also give it another mirror modifier that uses this object as the mirror object. We need this to be rotated, and maybe we don't want it to extend all the way this side, so it can just be up to there. So we have this mirrored on the X like that. Actually, I think if we are mirroring it on the X instead of the Y, we can maintain it like that and just use the bisect tool. So we have something like that. Now there is this edge loop I've added, and the reason I want to do that, just want to round off this area. And if I do that, I think I can just get rid of this edge so that I can create a smooth corner like that with a few edges like that. Now I can grab and first dissolve some of these vertices here. Yeah, so now I can grab this edge loop like that. I think up to around, so I want to maintain an edge loop like that, like that, like that. That comes all the way here. And I think we're going to need to round off these corners as well. So I'm just going to, I think I need to first dissolve this edge loop so that I can create a smooth corner. Ctrl-Shift-B here. So something like that. So I can grab this face and everything in between these pieces like that. Just push it in like that. I remember what we're trying to do is create kind of a sci-fi lab, and these cylinders are just going to contain maybe 2 babies like that. Are the links on the description, your add-ons? Yeah. Some of them, the top ones are my add-ons, but I also have some affiliate links. So we're trying to create a tube like this, and yeah, we're using these images for inspiration if you're just getting here. Yeah, so that's going to be our tube. and this is going to be a separate object, that continuous. So this tube is supposed to be continuous. So I'm just going to grab this edge loop here, and I think I need to round off this corner as well. To have something like that, can dissolve this edge. So we can grab that loop, bevel it. I think I need to dissolve some of these edges. Let me see. The most efficient way to do that would be perhaps to just dissolve that vertex or that edge, merge this to this. I like that. Do the same, merge this to this, and dissolve that edge, and do the same here. Just merge that to the last. Now if I grab this edge loop, it should be easier to round off now. Just purchase them all to support your great work. Thank you, Hytham. Thank you. Really appreciate that, and can't stress how much support that is if you buy the add-on. Yeah, so I want to have an edge that is angled like that, and now because I think I have an edge loop, yeah, that vertices that are too close together, kind of dissolving the effect of the bevel. So I'm just going to dissolve this, and I think some of these vertices can be merged. So I'll grab this edge here, merge to the center like that. Now this loop can be, maybe let me just slide this here, get rid of that. Maybe this can be there, so we have something like that, and this can be connected there, and we have, yeah, a piece like that. And you can see bit by bit we can manage to add more detail, and I can also add another loop here and just round off the corners here, and just let me see, can I insert or extrude? I think we can insert first, and get rid of this face. Just dissolve it into the mirror and then push this out, so we have another extra detail like that. I can also just duplicate this again, scale it down, or I can just use the insert tool again like that, dissolve this into the mirror, just hit extrude again for an extra detail like that, and then there will be the recording of this after the stream. Yes, it will be. I think I need to add some, let me see, I can just simply add, actually let me just add a loop here that goes through this and this. Control Shift B to round off, Control Shift B to round off, to bevel this edge loop, turn it into a circle by reducing the shape, then hit F, like that, extrude out like that, and for this we can just have it as a separate, actually not as a separate object but a separate mesh. So hit Y to separate it from the base mesh, and if I hide it I will have a hole here, so I'm going to merge these vertices into, merge them to the center and hide, so we get this piece here. There we have something like that, and we can continue adding more detail. For example, this here, we can add a loop that should go around here, or we can just make a cut like this, and just bevel this vertex. Hit F like that. I think I need more subdivisions. Push this in, insert, just maybe push this out. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want to add a curve object. This is going to be like, what is it? Hey, let me just make it so that like wires. Let me just change this to automatic. Just wires are dangling down around the surface. What in the case? What is in the case? We're just going to add in some babies, maybe lab babies, grow some children. Okay, so for this I'm going to add some geometry like that, and I guess we can use a mirror modifier to mirror this on the other side, like that. And I remember this is supposed to be a cylinder, so we add a circle, just scale it in to that, extrude this, shade smooth, and we don't need this anymore, we can just have that. I think we can also, before we do that, let's see what else we can do. I think we might need, I'm going to add more tubings here, so like that. I think we'll need to round off these edges as well. Ctrl Shift B like that. Let me also round off these corners. Ctrl Shift B just a bit. Just make sure that the shape is 0.5, so they are more rounded. And just grab these faces here, push them in just a bit like that. And I think I'm going to dissolve these vertices here. So our bevel is much stronger. And inside here, I want to have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pipes going in. So I'll bevel these edges like that. Change the bevel to something like that. Hit F, and then just select each one and change them into a sphere. So I'll just basically repeat the steps we did here. Scale by individual origins, insert, then extrude, you are right, it is great. Hey Eugene, glad to see you here. I think I'm missing most of your comments because I'm too focused on this. But hey Kaz Zari, mirror the whole bottom on the z-axis. The whole bottom on the z-axis. Yeah, I'm not sure what that would achieve, but okay. So here I'm just going to copy an edge here. Just connect it there. Now I can extrude this. And here, I change this to automatic. Yes, have them go like that. Now we need a bunch of these, so I'm just going to duplicate them a few times so each one are connected to that, like that. And then I haven't decided on the design of the top part. So maybe we can just have this. Let me just make sure it's auto, hit F, round off those corners a bit. Actually, I think that is not a bad design. I'd have it like that. And just round off those corners, and I'll also insert this face. Just make sure that I dissolve the inner part, and then just push this in. Have that like that. Let me see if I mirror this on the Z. Oh, was this what you're saying? Now, let me just keep it like that and just create another shape here. Shift D, P, just extrude up. Just then add a few details here, so I'll just grab this edge loop, extrude inside, then bevel a few of these edges, and I can add a few edge loops here, then just push them in or out to add in extra detail like that. Just do a bevel of these, and I use hardened normals like that. And for the top part, I think what I can do is just add a circle. At this time we only need about 16 vertices. Just scale it down to the surface like that. Extrude Z, F, insert, extrude up. Just round off the corners like that. Auto smooth. Now these are going to hold some pipes for us, so I can duplicate these a few times like that, and grab this. I'll just remove the mirror. I only need one as well, so I'm just going to grab this. Actually, let me just dissolve the entire thing and just add a curve point like that. Go to top mode and just rotate these. So these are going to be wires, and they have to be the same thickness as these. Let me bring back my music. Okay, let's read through your. Do you have Dropbox? Box cutter? I don't know. I don't. Bro, I really love your hard working. How hard working you are. Thank you so much for your recent streams. They help a lot. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you to IMB. Hope you're having a wonderful day as well. HDD draw. There will, there will be a recording. Guys, this plugin, texture folders version 2, is very, very useful. It's saving a lot of time. So texture folder is going to be merged with the asset library. So instead of having the texture folder and the asset library, they're all going to be a single add-on. I'm still working on finalizing. I've finalized, actually completed the add-on, but I'm still working out a few bugs. I'm working on a modular futuristic banker. This stream is going to be a big help. Thank you. Maybe make it like big liquid container and add a body inside. That's what we are trying to do here. Okay. I think I'm going to round off these corners to this should be 0.5. And I think we also still need to have this a bit more detailed. And one way to do that is just add a few circular lines. Just add a few of these. Let me just change this to rotation to active, so we get a bunch of wires connected to this, and yes, so that's our single pipe. Now let's work on some materials. Or before you even work on materials, I'm just going to grab the entire piece. I'll call it cylinder, like this. And now let's work on a lab. Maybe something that looks a bit similar to this here. And instead of these containers, we're going to have our cylinder here. So since this is a collection, I'm just going to hide it and just instance it. And the layout of our lab, are we going to have it? We want to have a straight corridor like this, and maybe a few, I don't know. Just have this, just designing the layout of the lab here. Maybe something like that. I'm just going to first remove these faces here. Just bring my camera in. The focal length is going to be 25. So it is a matrix chamber. I think it could be that. So now we can bring in. I think we need more space between this. So just going to, and these containers are going to be within those places. So I'll just instance the cylinder again. So let me slide this down, come here. We just use an environment texture. So skies, I'll go to my skies and just use maybe something like, I don't know, something like this. And you can see our instance, these pipes are too low, so I'll go back to my cylinder instance, just grab these pipes and just make sure that they are the same, they're at the level of that. Yeah, now I can have instances of these pipes or these cylinders in different places of our lab. Like that. And I'll separate the roof of our lab from the walls. So hit P, grab these as well. Also separate the floor from the walls. Like that. We're going to be using cycles to render this because so we can use because we're going to make these glasses, these cylinders glass, and cycles renders glass better than Eevee. And so I think I'm just going to also grab, let's pause the render for a second. Yeah, so let me turn on viewport denoising. Okay, now we want some light in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to the cylinder instance. If I isolate it for a second. Grab these tubes. First, I'm going to give them a thickness or solidify modifier. Just recalculate the normals and also give them a glass material. So I'll go to my asset library. In materials, search for glass. Let me search all glass. I don't know if I want glass without refractions or just, let's just use a glass shader for this. New glass material. I just use a shader, glass shader. And inside of these, we're going to have a ring like this. So I'll just duplicate this, bring it in. It should be a separate object like that. Doesn't need the bevel or the extrude. And this is just going to be an emissive light. So like that. Let me first isolate it for a second. I want it to have a metal surface, so we'll start for metals here and maybe get something like this. Let me see. Let me just do cube projection. And this part here is also going to be a light source. So I'll create a new material, assign new material. This is just going to be an emissive blue light. So let's use a light of 10. And if we're in Eevee, I want to have screen space reflections and refractions, and for the glass object or this cylinder. Actually, I can keep one in the center like that. It'll be much easier to access. Just make sure that I have blending on, none for the shadows, like that. So if we go to cycles, and actually what I can do is just have a copy of this, Alt D, duplicated and mirrored at the top like that, so that all these pipes are kind of coming from, let me first delete these and just extrude them directly. So they're all coming from from these pieces. So just realign them. Like that. Hello Walker, how are you doing? If we go to cycles, let's see how this looks. Okay, so we're already seeing something, but we don't seem to have enough light. But I'm liking what I'm seeing already. Did you get the vaccine? I'm afraid to get one. Yeah, I got Pfizer. I'm fully vaccinated. It's the first thing I got when the vaccine was available in my country. So yeah, I like being safe. Yeah. So for here, let's see. Let's trace out how I want this to be. So this cylinder, I want it to be on a platform. That looks sci-fi too, so maybe like that. And just let me see if I subdivide this twice, have this extended, so we have a platform like this. I'll bring this up, this edge, something like that. Bring this down. I'll grab, you know what, if I do that, I think I want to round off all these corners by a bit. So Ctrl Shift B, I like that. I can select the outline. I can select the outline. Just need to get rid of some of these vertices. Okay, something fishy. Okay, something like that. Just grab this entire loop. Just extrude it down. And maybe even bevel it a bit. Seems to resist the bevel somewhere. So let me first merge by distance. Just shade smooth, auto smooth, and add a bevel modifier like that. Add in normals. So we have a platform like that. So Actually, I don't want this to. I don't want the main instance to be there. Just want this piece to be the main instance. I like that. And let's see. And here on these rings, let me get the main instance here. This here. I want these rings here to give off light, so I'll just grab this Shift D piece, separate it as an object, and just bring it down a bit. Maybe extrude it like that. And just add a few tubes in here. So I'm going to use a solidify modifier on these, a solidify modifier, just to give it some thickness. And I want this to be above the bevel, just to add in some detail. And I want this to be metallic as well. And wrap or use cube projection. Then just add a few edge loops, or just grab an edge like this, scale it in, separate it. It doesn't need the solidify modifier or the bevel. Just going to extrude and then insert. So something like this. Shift D, scale it in, and this is going to get our light material. And I can hide this now. Unpause the render, and since we are not using the HDR, let me remove that. Okay, so it seems we still need a lot of light in here, so let me pause this for a second. I'll grab the outline of the lab, Shift D, separate it into its own object. Let me see if I can get it. Where is this? Yeah, this outline. Extrude it down and extrude it in, just a bit like that. Scale this in, and that's also going to get the emissive light. Shift N. Just make sure that this also, our cylinder also has its normals flipped. Unpause. And now our lab is getting some light. Yeah, thank you, Elad. Do you get any problems with your health? When was it? No, I haven't got any problems. I think it was I got vaccinated about, was it 2 weeks ago? Sorry, not 2 weeks. Maybe I got my last dose 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, around that. But I haven't got any issues. I got Pfizer. And here. Yeah, so it seems we are getting now a lot of light. So I'm going to make sure that this is not giving off too much light. Just have it set to maybe 1, and I should be like that. And the flow can use a more metallic material like this. The top part at the center is in the roof, or is clipping through the roof. Let me pause the render for a second. That we can add a loop that goes in like that. I think I can grab something. I think I can add a loop here, add a loop here, so that I can simply just do something like this. I think I need to do the same here. Add a loop here, maybe. So I can grab these faces, insert, and then push this up like that, and I can add a bevel modifier to this as well. Auto smooth, shade smooth. Do you have Discord? Yes, you can use the exclamation mark Discord to access Discord. So it seems my and I think for the angle, let's make it 25, like that. I'm going to go to my asset library, the asset library, and I'll go into my kit bash. I have a lot of sci-fi items that I could use from there. Things like this that I can add in, but I want to add some liquid inside here, a glowy liquid, something like this. And I think the way to do that, because I don't want them all to be at the same level, I'm just going to grab this cylinder, Shift D to duplicate it, and also make sure that it's not in the same collection, so that it's not added to all of the elements. So I just want it to be like this, and I want this to use a liquid material. So first of all, I need to make sure that it is a bit smaller and has no solidify. I'll call this liquid. Now let me pause the render this side. Just come here. Just look at just this. Let me first change to GPU because my CPU is crashing. So let's figure out how we're going to shape this. So I want this to be a greenish fluid, a thick with a very high refractive index. Maybe also give it some roughness. I like that. And to make your fluids even look better, you can also add what is it called, a fluid. You can also add in I think a volume absorption. So if I go to shader, volume absorption, I can add that in. And it will just make the fluid more fluid-like. Then what else can we do? So we can also add in some bubbles to this. So for the bubbles, what we're going to do is let me first isolate this for a second. We're going to create a few bubbles using icospheres. We don't want that much resolution. Shade smooth. Of course, I would have preferred these to be more rounded, but because we're going to use a lot of bubbles, we're going to use gradient top from top to bottom to drive translucence. Well, then the translucence is going to be from top to bottom, but translucence of fluid is usually from the view angle of the camera. So a freshener would be better than a gradient. But I want to first see how this looks. So I want to add in some bubbles, some large and small bubbles. And to do that, all I need to do is have a particle system, here particle system, and turn on advanced, and then in the source we're going to use volume, and let me change the length to 1. The render, we're going to use an object, and the object is going to be this cylinder, and I want this to be random distributed. So you see we have bubbles in the entire tube. And I think the other thing I'm going to do is just cut off this piece. It's too complicated. And the top as well. So it's just a simple cylinder like that. And I'm going to randomize the scale of the bubbles. So if you get the bubble, give it a glass material, shader glass material. Can say white. You can have the normals of this bubble flipped, and then it will render as a bubble material. So now I can have this. Let me just have this in a collection called extras. So I want this to be inside this. So I'll just first like that. Now let's look at how this looks. I think another thing I could do is add a point light inside here, inside the fluid. And I think that is starting to look good. The only thing I need to do, actually, for some of these fluids, the liquid is going to be halfway, and others, the liquid is going to be full. So that's what we have. Again, I want my light to be in like that. And let me go back to my main cylinder. Just give this a metal surface. So I'll look for metal. And maybe grab something like this, assign to that. Just use cube projection for the UV. Let me isolate this for a second just to look at how this is looking. Okay. Then I'm also going to duplicate this material. Yes. Reuse the material. I call this white metal. Just to have some variations. And now this is going to be, white. So some of these pieces are going to have the white parts or the white metal. I like that. like that. This entire piece. A quick way actually to select it is just to add a seam, max seam around, and then Control L. Okay, then do the same for these. I think my quick deco add-on would work very well here. So some of these should have numbers. So I'm going to go to my quick deco add-on and just make sure that I have it enabled. Quick decos add-on. Quick decos. I'm also going to merge the quick deco add-on with the quick deco designer add-on. So that is one add-on as well. Let me see. Go to my decos, see what I can get if I have any numbers here. Can I use, let me see, do I have any numbers, good numbers we could use? Let me search for sci-fi text. Sci-fi text. How about all the cylinders with bodies inside, but one with broken glass and a body on the floor? That could also work. Let me get some sci-fi font text. No, let's just grab anything we have, because I'm not about to design, yeah, something like this. Add deco. So the quick deco add-on just lets you add simple details like this with much ease. So I want this to be something like that, and I can use the add shrink wrap option. Let me go and just have this slapped onto the surface. I'll use the offsets feature. Yeah, so do something like that, and this should be in the cylinder option, in the cylinder. So I just have this in the cylinder, cylinder what? Cylinder. Actually, it doesn't have to be, because since we have already added the cylinder modifier, I can now choose to change or apply this modifier, the shrink wrap modifier, and just have it on other objects. So I'm going to apply visuals to geometry. Now in here I can easily switch out the texture if I wanted to use it on other assets. So let me first hide the cylinder, just realign it to match. A better way would just to apply it on the cylinder, which actually let me actually just do that instead. Move it to the cylinders collection, hide the cylinder, that way it will appear on every piece like that, and it's a nice detail. And this is also going to need the metal texture. Just use cube projection like that. And these wires as well will also need a different material. So I'll select them, go to my asset library. Let me search for plastic this time. See if I have any good materials that can come up. Maybe this. It's too bumpy for my liking, so I'm going to reduce the bumps. Maybe actually let me remove the bumps completely. Yeah, so we have that. And these ones will use the same material, but this time it's going to be should be a different color. I don't know. Let me hide this and grab our cylinder with the particles and just add it on two different elements. Just make sure that it's well centered, and we can some of them can be full, or some can be not full. So we have some variation. And some of them can be empty, so let's see how this looks in cycles now. Yeah, I think the liquid looks super great. Looks good. Let me bring back my music. The issue we are having is that we don't really have any directional light. So let's do that. I'll come in here. Add some lights. Let me look for light. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab these light panels here and just cut out a few pieces for them. So we have this edge loop. I'm going to add an extra edge loop here and maybe a few subdivisions. So can grab this light, add it there. Just come in here and slide these edge loops around until we make this like that. I'm going to reduce the bevel on these. Like that. So that's our light. Don't forget to save. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, I've been saving, but let me save a backup in case the other one just fails. Going to duplicate this light here, here, and there. We need more well thought color theme. Yeah, I think you are right. But I think I'm going to use a lot of white and yeah, mostly white and then maybe black flow after that to contrast the fluids. So let me come here. Just align. What kind of color theme do you have in mind? Burning bright. Maybe we can test it out and see if it would work for this scene. So just going to, I could use a Boolean modifier for this, but yeah, I think this is also enough. Thank you, Zigzag. Parking. Bro, use Eevee rendering. Eevee rendering doesn't really handle glass very well. Yeah, I think this, yeah, you're right about the color theme. This pink here is just conflicting. It's just not working very well with the other colors. Just straighten these edges. Yeah, something like that. Dark walls with a reddish yellow border. Dark walls with reddish yellow border. I think I've tried that theme ago. I want to try a different dark theme with a yellow border. Let me see. Let me look for wall here. So we want this to be a dark material. Though I'm not really sure about a dark material in a lab. I usually find white walls for a lab. Some yellow text on the wall that we can do very easily. I'll just use my quick decos add-on. Just add that. Oh, so you're saying, yeah, the parking it shouldn't be called parking. It shouldn't be called parking. So let me change this to this, and yeah, let me also change this to level 5 parking, but I don't think this is too visible there. So yeah, these pipes here should get a different material. Maybe let's just stick to that, to black there. This could be, let me go to my asset, look for some metal materials. You can make them just plain glass or plain metal like that. I think this should also not be too dark like that, so like that. Turn on astronomic material, give it a rotation. Let's see what else. Yeah, we need this in some of these containers as well. So our main issue now is about lighting. So I'm going to add a very large light here. Before we do that, because we have adjusted the light, let's first do a quick render here. I'm going to make these lights very powerful. And go back to GPU. Okay, things are starting to look interesting. Except the flow is simply too dull. So as I was saying, I want to add, let me grab this light here. Use maybe a power of 50, duplicate it in different tubes here. And let's see. And hello Imperia, why not create a fresh new deco? This way we can see the way you do it. I think I can do that, but because I want to merge the deco add-on with the quick decos add-on, I don't want to show off the deco designer again. So I'll first have to do that. Which plugin are you using to display the keys? That's the shortcut UVR. I think that the vegetation is killing the design. I hope you change it or upgrade it. The vegetation. This is not my design. I'm just using it as a reference. What we have here is just bubbles with water. Flow with bricks. Flow with bricks, man. For a lab, I don't think a lab would have a flow with bricks. I would just have to add, to make the flow, add some details to the flow. So let's do that. I'll go to my let me clear search. I don't know why I'm getting that error, but I'll fix it later. Yeah, let's add some details. Let me pause this for a second. Let's add some details to some extra details here. These are created in a previous project, so just going to use them here. Just use the shear. Let me just add an array. Just give it the same material like that. Glossy white tiles. I think tiles could work because as they are white, they can work for a lab. So let me go to my materials and search for tiles that are, I think these. Yeah, something like, yeah, these tiles could work. Yeah, so thank you for the suggestion. Scale them down. And actually, the scene in Eevee is starting to look good as well. Thank you for subscribing. Sinan Nalkachi, something. Yeah. Yes, unwrap this. Yeah, it's the floor that is lacking some detail. And the roof as well. So I'll search for, could the floor also have some tiles? Let's see. I think I can have parts of the floor have some tiles, especially where these are so. Just make these. So let me just look for a floor. A floor. Let's use this for the floor. And part of it we can give. Maybe add some directional line and or text on the floor as well, some visual interest. Oh yeah, I think we could do that. Let's first add this for the floor. I think the noise has to be a bit smaller, like that. But parts of these are going to have the tile material. The tile. So these should have the tile material as well. It is called tile. This tile material. So okay, so let me just enable the quick deco designer because it would be very useful here. The textured deco designer. It has a few elements that could be very useful here. So let me grab so you said you want some arrows. We can add this arrow as a texture on a plane. Like that. Just going to move it a bit up. Just make sure also it's using its alpha mask as the alpha. And since we are using Eevee in the preview, I want to make sure that's using alpha clip. of a clip. No shadows. Yo, thank you for subscribing. That was sorry, I can't pronounce the name, but thank you. I think your clean room is good with white color walls, contrast with black seams, by adding a contrast stripe of color like orange along the bottom end of the wall of the whole room. Yeah, I think that that's a good idea. So if you're saying if I add like an edge loop here, which color? Black, orange, or black? Let me see. I think orange would be fit more. So yeah, something like that. Just move this somewhere there. Let's see what other decals can we add. Yeah, this here can also be very useful. And actually, I'm just going to duplicate this material. Shift D and just import this as a texture and basically just replace this and I guess I can just use an array. I like that. Change your yellow to orange. It's too soft, and make it glossy so it reflects light. Okay, so to orange and very reflective like that. How do you mean for every other element I've added? I think we still need more light, so let me go to the asset library and look for some lights. I'll grab, let me see. I think I can also add in some of these lights here. Yes. Have a few extra lights. Change to cycles again. I think I'm going to go back to the other material we're using for the cylinder. Make it dark. One thing I'm seeing about this scene is that we are lacking directional lighting, so everything looks too plain. So what I'm going to do is first sort out my lighting. So let's sort out the lighting to make this scene look much better. So let me grab all the lights in the scene, Shift G, type, just merge them into their own light, into their collection light. And, yeah, like that. If I switch them off for a second, also select all these ceiling lights that we have. If I hide the scene, hide the roof, add them into a ceiling light collection. Okay, so that's the best lighting we have. Let me also increase the samples, the maximum samples here to 1096. So now we need to give this some interesting lighting. So let me add an area light in the back here. Make it wide as this. So rectangle, make sure this is we want light from one direction. Just need some directional light. To make this look super cool. The lab, to feel more alive, you need shelves inside the walls with bottle glasses and maybe a cart with instruments. Okay. Let me first fix the lighting a bit here. Think this is also getting too dark. Let me make it non-metallic and see. And the roof still looks a bit too plain. Let's see what we can add in. Can add in these pipes. Let me first pause the render, go to Eevee, have these lines here. They can just use the same material as, let me see. Yeah, I can just use just that white. Grab this piece. Let me just cut a hole somewhere and just put this piece Hey Ganjam farmer, how are you doing? How are the plants? Let me grab this piece and just have it somewhere here on the floor. Just rotate it 90 degrees. And just make it dark. I like that. Now one thing I could do is just make this a bit more elongated. I like that. And I can give it an array. On the Y. We first apply the rotation. -1, and make it go all the way to the back. And actually maybe I can just have it here. Give it another array. I feel I had a lab like that. Oh, you can share with us. Don't be shy. I'm going to grab this roof, just hide it for a second so that I can see through this. And let me look for wires and see if I have any good wires. I have these. Yeah, actually these could be very good to add a detail in here. Inside that. because what we are lacking now is just extra detail. Like that. I can also just grab one of these wires as well, Shift D, and make it straight. Straighten it like that, and just have it following these here. Maybe scale it down. I see Ganja Farmer, you already started your feud with Nightbot. You guys have beef going on for some reason. Okay, so I think we also need these on this side. Let's see. Let me also just duplicate these. Yeah, the cables, I made them from a different project, from the sci-fi project we created a few days back. I think this has to be a bit smaller. Now, 4 emojis is too many for Nightbot. I think so. Yeah, I think that's what I think triggers him. If you use a lot of emojis. Let me go back to my kit bash. See what else I can add. Going to grab this piece, which is, I think, this here. Let me pause the render for a second. Add an array. Just trying to make the lab look more like a lab. So I'm just going to first move this about here. Maybe I'll make this a bit smaller. And I'll grab some of these wires and just have them up. Let's see. How long do projects run on a normal day? Usually about 2 hours, so the length of the stream. The length of the stream is usually how long the projects are. I think this can be white. Okay, so we can add in some people into these tubes. So I'm going to use Make Human. This is a free application that you can use to generate humans, and we're going to use that for this part. Does links allowed? YouTube will not accept links. It's not me who doesn't accept them, but YouTube will just block all the links in the chat. So let's use kid. Okay, then let's go to geometries, material. Yeah, let's get anything. Yeah, that's enough. We can go to the pose. Just want a simple rig like that. Export. Call this baby. I'll export FBX. Yeah, it's usually about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. I actually have had. I don't think I've ever had a stream go over 3 hours. I don't think I have had any stream that has been 3 hours too. So yeah, so the projects are usually 2 hours max, or 3 hours max. And so let's import that kid. Let me see, where did I export this? No, animals, people. Just go into, I'll just go on FBX. Let me first pause this. File, import FBX. Models, animals, people, and bring in the baby. Yeah, so we have our baby here. Comes with the materials on the rig already set up. everything is set up. So we just have to scale him down. Let me see. Baby in stomach. Now let's pose him like this. Actually, let me just drag the image here. Get my rig. Just pose him. That's enough. For the materials, we're going to make a few changes. First, I want to have some subsurface. Yeah, something like that. And I'm going to use this as a collection instance as well, so that it's much easier to instance. So I'll select children, and select the amateur. Yeah, FBX is the best. It's just imports very quickly. Now I can add this instance of the baby in every tube. So some are going to be upside down like that. Let's unpause. Yeah, it's starting to look like there is something in there. Maybe we can make this. So let me reduce the absorption and make the glass more 1.3. Yeah, I think blue. Yeah, I think things are looking much better. I'm just going to scale this up. You are a mad scientist. Yeah, we are making babies in blenders here. Let's see. The only thing I'm not too happy with is the roof. So let's do something about that. Just going to grab this edge loop, hit P, separate it, and just add a few loop cuts. Extrude them out. Assign this a new material. And just use a metal maybe, and use a light. I think I need to make these strips really small, and doesn't need the bevel. Can you do a quick render in Eevee and cycles? Well, this is the quick render in Eevee. Sorry, in cycles. If you want a better resolution, my screen will probably crash trying to do that. One other thing I could do is, yeah, I don't like these lights anymore. So let me switch them out for ventilations. So I'll go to my asset library. I'll search for vent. I think I can grab one like that, and just replace this light with this Control L object data. So all these should be vents like that. And then these, I'm just going to make them long tubes like that instead of having long and thin tubes like that. Full screen. Let me see. Yeah, it would take some time for this to render out something. I think it's starting to look better, especially now that our color theme is getting there. I like the floor and these wall tiles. I think they look really good. I think I also need a few of these. If I suppose, I think I need a few of these here. Because this wall is too plain and there may be a few in the back. And we need our babies as well. Thank you. Hey, red dot. Yes, so these also need to have the fluid in them. So let me pause this. I think one thing we can do is we can go to is it light path and change the transmission, increase the transmission passes to something like 24. That's going to really increase the render count, but I think we're going to get better reflections. Blood of the lamp, I think there should be some light at the bottom. Well, yeah, at the bottom edges of each of the cylinder to pop, say red like cyan. Don't know, but we'll add some contrast. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I think now we have too many of these cylinders. I think I just need one there. Here it's just too cluttered, so I'll just add one in the corner. Okay, so you want the cylinders to have where is the cylinder? So you want it to have a light. I think that could work. So where are my lights? Yeah, I think we can just grab one of these lines. Were supposed to be a light source, so I think I can grab this. Yes. And give it a light material. That sounds good. Blood or the lamp? Yeah, blood is a bit of work. Maybe some display on the cylinders, like text. Yeah, I think the lights really look good, but I'm not sure about what color. I'll give this. I think now the lab looks much better. Looks nice with the lights. Yeah. I think so. I agree with that. Control on the cylinder. I like what kind of control? Yeah, another thing I think we need is the baby is not well lit, so I'm going to go to the main baby and just give them a light. I make the cylinder red. Think so? Because I was playing with colors. The only color that seemed to make sense was white. Red is just the opposite of the colors we're using here. It just stands out too much. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Let me look for a character to add in here. Let's add in this guy. Maybe he's some sort of doctor. If I pause. Grab this. Now make the lights on. Make the light one on red, like something happened. Oh, like something happened, like an accident or something. So you want this to be red. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I've always wanted to render like this on a large scale. Is it possible to render the inside of the tanks as an image and project the view on the surface? Well, it's going to lose the three-dimensional. You're not going to have the 3D dimensional effect on it, I think, and that there won't be any parallax if you are animating. If you add light inside the cylinder on the baby, would help, because I can't see them. That's why I asked you to render. Yeah, so I added the light, but I don't think it's a light issue. It's the number of samples we are using. At some point, when you have a lot of refractions, Blender just cuts out the refractions and start to make things look darker. I mean, the liquid, make one liquid red. Oh, that can be done. I think I'm just going to what is this? My GPU has crashed again. You could have a view from the baby's eye into the room and to help it freaky, to make it freaky. I think what can be done is just have a cylinder close up here, so we can see the baby. So let's see, no devices available for denoising. Let's go back to, yeah, so all my GPUs seem to crash. Don't want to work anymore. I need to first restart the project, but what I can do is, let me first duplicate this. What I want is to have a closer tube here where we can see the baby. Let me first restart Blender. What is this? Which country are you from, bro? You sound Kenyan or Tanzanian? No, I'm from Uganda, man. That's just so you are close to guessing. Save the file? Yeah, I've saved several times, man. Yeah, even this close, we are still not seeing the... I think it could also be the number of samples we are using. That's why you're not seeing the baby. And I don't want this to be that close. I want to see the entire lab. And another thing I want is to have a rim light over this guy. The baby is too healthy. Yeah. Because this is a humane lab. Yes, they grow babies in tubes, but yeah, maybe in the future people are not able to give birth naturally, so the lab is the only solution. Uganda, you are my African brother? Yeah, yeah, us. Us, South Africa. Yeah, it seems East Africans have the same accent, a similar accent. I don't, but sounds crazy. Was thinking, since the other cylinders are empty, I think to add some story, like it shows it was broken and the liquid. Yeah, I wanted to add that, but I don't think at some point my PC is not going to be able to handle the project. That's why I don't want to add too many things. One thing I could do is maybe make this cylinder a different material. So let me first make sure that it has a different, it's not an instance. And also, yeah, let's try making this one a bit reddish. And maybe the volume absorption is what's causing this to have. Let me look at the materials. Let me just remove. Already is too much. Yeah, greenish. Around there. Can we do a full render too? With my setup, yeah, the stream will just crash. Make the lights on this one side also red. So you can see how it is rendering this not very well. The lights on one side red. Let me see. The render looks amazing, thank you. The lights on one side red. Let's see. The lab is amazing. I think the colors are fine. Maybe just making the baby skin glow like effect to make it pop and look a bit different from the liquid. Yeah. So for the baby inside the tube, I'm not sure what is. I'll just have to give it a few renders and see what kind of results I get. Because that might have to be. It may be a result of the samples I'm using, the number of samples I'm using here. Yeah, so I'm going to give this a quick render and see. I'll post the final results maybe in Discord. Now the light on the the bottom of the cylinder disappeared. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot. I think it disappeared when I was adjusting this light here. And I added this ring here. Yeah. Or maybe try giving the baby of the skin of the baby some emission. I don't think that's going to help, but let's see. Yeah, you see, even with the emission, you still don't see the baby. So this, yeah, it must be a samples issue. So we need to either increase the number of samples. And let me see, where would that be? So it should be in light. I increase the transmission, the transparent, filter glossy. I'm not really sure. Yo, thank you for subscribing, Han. Really appreciate that. And I must admit, it's done. Yeah, thank you. I think with that, we're going to end the stream here. I'm going to leave this to render for about, let me first turn off this baby.